Hello everyone, welcome to Meet the Beast on Friday the 13th. Thank you very much for joining me for this little tasting. Now, the first sample of the day is going to be our core bottling of Timmer's Beastie. Now, each whisky that we're going to go through, each one adheres strictly to Douglas Laing's core principle of as natural as it gets. What that really means? Non-chill filtered, no caramel colouring here, and as high alcohol as possible. Truly the way whisky is intended to be. Now, Timmer's Beastie represents the Highland region in our remarkable regional malt series and is designed to be the perfect example of this particular region. Now, Timmer's Beastie is a marriage of single cask, single malts from a number of different distilleries, but including names like Dalmore, Blair Athol, Glengarry and Glengoyne. So the idea is we take all these great single malts, and what we do is we bring those individual characters together and produce something of the highest possible quality. Enough talking, let's dive into the whisky. Now, straight away, once you have the whisky in your glass, it's this very light, pale gold, almost straw-like colour. As I've already said, no caramel colouring added here, it is all natural from the cask. Now, Timmer's Beastie core bottling here is predominantly ex-bourbon casking, so therefore you get that nice light golden hue. However, don't be put off by the light, delicate colour, because the moment you start to have a little smell, you start to realise there's far more to this whisky than the colour might show you. Now, bottled at 46.8% alcohol, like I say, non-chill filtered, we are going to get a dram bursting with flavour. On the nose, it's very sweet, it's very delicate. Some light fruits, maybe some orchard fruits in there. We're starting to see maybe some light apples and pear notes. However, with that big ex-bourbon influence, we're getting huge waves of vanilla. Some little oak spice in the background. I think we should dive in for a taste. Straight away you get that light delicate colour and whacked with this big mouthful of flavour. It's rich, it's fruity, it's spicy, it's tingling the tip of the tongue. It's a whisky that surprises a lot of people. That light colour does not give you any clue as to what's about to hit you. It's quite oily thanks to that lack of chill filtering. Real mouth coating, rich, sweet. I'm getting maybe some caramelised peaches, some caramelised apricot, maybe even some marmalade. It's all rich, sticky and fruity and sweet. What a brilliant starter dram to our full lineup here. I'll take another little sip and we'll move on. Now then, I hope we all enjoyed our first introduction to Timmer's Beast with our core bottling. Our next step is the progression. We're now into our 10-year-old Timmer's Beastie bottling. Now, Timmer's Beastie 10 is predominantly ex-bourbon casking again, so we can expect some progression of those flavours that we started to pick out from the core bottling. If you pick it up and start having a look, you notice potentially a slightly darker hue, but not by much. We're still working with a big ex-bourbon influence in here, so it's still got that nice light golden colour. On the nose, syrupy. It's almost like some fresh syrup poured over some orchard fruits, like an apple pie or an apple crumble, maybe even some candied pears. We're working non-chill filtered, no colouring. We're at 46.8% ABV again, so that high alcohol is still there. I think we should dive in for a taste. That vanilla wave comes back again, but this time the spices are a little bit more subtle, it's a little bit more delicate. Those few extra years in the cask just soften a few of those flavours, make them a little bit longer, still sitting in the back of the tongue. It's a very easy going whisky, this one. Very rich, very sweet, almost like the elegant progression of the core bottling. It's a dram that you could potentially drink a little bit too much of, but I'll go for one last sip. Enjoy. So here we are, the crescendo of our tasting, and it's time to meet the beast. Now this bottle, a beautiful bottle in front of me, is one of only 3,000 available globally, so it is very much something to savour and enjoy, but we're definitely going to be tasting it. The Meet the Beast this year is aged for a minimum of 13 years in predominantly ex-bourbon casks again, non-chill filtered, no caramel colouring, and bottled at natural cask strength of 52.5% ABV. It's going to have some similar notes to our first two samples, but we're going to turn that volume up to 11, make sure that little mouse is an absolute monster of a dram. Now I think the best thing for us to do would be to pick up a glass, dive right in. In the glass, potentially a little bit darker, those extra years in that cask is giving us a little bit more depth to the colour. On the nose, it's surprisingly subtle. That vanilla note's there, maybe a little bit of honey, maybe some little bit of oak spice. It's delicate, it's going to be a surprise when you get it in the mouth. It is big, it is spicy, voluminous whiskey. It is, incredibly rich, mouth-coatingly sweet. It really is a big step up from the first two whiskies in terms of overall flavour punch. It is citrusy almost. You've got some Seville orange in there. That oak spice is tingling away in the mouth. But then you've got this signature timorous Beastie note, that sweet and spicy vanilla note carries on all the way through the mouth. It's oily, it's quite heavy in the mouth, almost chewy when you come down to it. We'll go in for a second try. It is an absolute powerhouse of flavour. Big, similar characteristics coming through, but then we just take it one step further up with this Meet the Beast bottling. I hope you enjoy it, please do. At this point, the core range bottling and the 10-year-old bottling, they are our stepping stones into something like this. We have a similar profile running through, we can play around, we can tweak, but with Meet the Beast, we've taken that mouse, made him into a monster, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for joining us for this little tasting. Slàinte mhath.